Shadows, figures, and moments so strange, they'll make you pause your drive and question everything around you. So, let's get started.
What is that?
Late night drives hit different when you take the wrong road. A late night dashcam recording shows a car moving through a completely empty road with very little lighting. Ahead of the vehicle, a woman dressed in white can be seen standing in the middle of the lane. The driver slowed down, and the headlights shone on her clearly. She remained facing away from the vehicle for several seconds, and even started walking the other way. Then, as the car moved closer, she suddenly turned her head around, scaring the riders before stepping out of the frame. Thankfully, the driver continued past the spot and made it home. Louisiana night. A truck driver traveling through Louisiana late at night recorded a quiet road ahead of him. As his headlights move along the roadside, a person can be seen sitting near the edge of the pavement. The figure appears to be a young woman, wearing light-colored clothing. The driver continues past without stopping, and the camera briefly captures her face turning toward the road. Within seconds, the truck passes the spot, and the figure disappears behind the vehicle. The short recording later circulated online, mainly because of how still the person remained during the entire encounter. Phantom seat. A truck driver reviewing his dashcam footage later noticed something unusual in the passenger seat. During the drive, the seat beside him looked empty, and he continued his route normally. But in the recording, a faint figure can be seen sitting beside him for a few seconds. The shape looks like a woman sitting quietly without moving. The driver never reacts during the drive, suggesting he did not notice anything at the time. The figure slowly fades from the frame as the truck continues down the highway. Watching it back, that quiet moment in the passenger seat definitely makes the clip feel a lot stranger. Village ghost. A few men riding a motorcycle through a rural road in India recorded a quiet nighttime scene. As they approached a small water pump near the roadside, a woman could be seen standing nearby, wearing traditional clothing. At first, it looked like just someone collecting water at night. But as the motorcycle moved closer, the woman remained completely still without reacting to the approaching vehicle. The riders slowed down briefly before continuing along the road. When they looked back a few seconds later, the spot was completely empty as no one was there. Red figure truck drivers passing through a quiet rural road once captured a strange moment on camera. The road was surrounded by thick jungle on both sides, with very little light except the truck's headlights. As they drove past a bend, a person dressed entirely in red could be seen standing near the roadside. Figure stood still, facing toward the road with a very steady posture. One of the men in the truck seemed curious about what they had just passed, but the driver quickly told him not to stop, as it was black magic. Nightwalker. Someone filming along a quiet street at night caught a figure moving slowly across the road. At first glance, the person looks normal enough, walking at a calm pace. But after watching more closely, you can notice something unusual about the silhouette. The figure appears to have no visible head above the shoulders. The body continues moving with long, uneven steps, while dressed in light-colored clothing that stands out in the dark. The camera keeps recording as the figure crosses the road and continues into the darkness. The unusual movement of the silhouette is what made this video go viral. Road creature. A couple traveling late at night had stopped on a quiet road after their car developed a problem. While waiting for help to arrive, after a short time, a strange figure appeared moving along the roadside. The shape looked thin and slightly bent, walking in an unusual way that caught their attention immediately. Its eyes seemed to reflect the headlights, creating a bright glow in the camera. The couple stayed inside the car and kept filming while the figure moved slowly across the road. The clip doesn't last very long, but it's enough to creep you out. Road lunge. A motorcyclist riding through a busy road at night recorded a moment that quickly caught people's attention online. In the video, a person-like figure suddenly appears, standing in the lane ahead. As the rider approaches at full speed, the figure quickly moves forward toward the motorcycle. The strange part is what happens next. The rider passes through the spot and immediately looks back, but there's no one visible on the road behind him. The lane appears completely empty. The rider sounded genuinely shaken in the clip and slowed down after the moment. Well, glad he finally did. White robe. While taking a sharp turn through a quiet countryside road, a driver briefly captured something unusual on his dashcam. For only a second, a tall figure wearing a bright white robe appeared standing near the edge of the road. The headlights lit up the clothing clearly before the car passed the spot. When the driver checked the recording later, the figure was visible only for a moment before disappearing from the frame. The car never stopped, and the road looked completely empty afterward. Sometimes dashcams capture very small moments like this, and when you notice them later, you end up replaying that short clip a few more times than expected. Strange walker. A group of friends riding a motorcycle through a quiet road noticed a woman walking slowly beside the lane. Her expressions looked unusual, so they slowed down slightly while recording her. When they spoke to her, she simply stared back without saying anything. After a moment, she began making slow hand movements that the riders didn't quite understand. One of them quietly told the driver to keep moving, and they continued down the road without stopping again. Well, that was probably the best decision they made that night. Forest encounter. A group of friends were riding their bikes along a dark road at night when their headlights caught something ahead. At first, it just looked like a tall shape standing near the roadside. As they got closer, the camera clearly showed a very pale figure that appeared taller than a normal person walking ahead. As they followed it, at one point, the figure slowly turned its head toward the riders. The movement looks unusually wide, almost unnatural for a normal neck turn. The group quickly kept moving and later shared the clip online. Some people suggested it could be a person in costume, though the height and posture make the scene a little hard to explain. Roadblock. A couple driving through a quiet highway noticed something standing in the middle of the road ahead. As their headlights grew brighter, the figure slowly became clearer. It appeared tall and covered in thick furry clothing while standing completely still. The driver slowed down but continued moving forward without stopping. The figure did not move even as the car passed by it. For a moment, the headlights fully illuminated the shape before it disappeared behind the vehicle. The couple can even be heard cursing in the car, clearly shaken by the sight. Pale movement. This dashcam footage left many creeped out. The recording begins normally, showing a car parked on the roadside. After a few seconds, something pale slowly crawls out from the bushes in front of the car. The figure moves low to the ground with long arms and a thin body shape. It stays in the headlights briefly before moving back toward the darker area near the trees. The driver recording the scene remains at a distance and reverses back instantly. Well, who would even wait to watch what happens next in this scenario? Glowing runner. A police dashcam in Everett, Washington once recorded a small, glowing figure moving along a dark highway at night. In the footage, the shape appears bright white against the road, almost like a tiny person running quickly along the lane. The movement is fast and low to the ground, and the glow makes it hard to see clear details of its form. The moment only lasts a short time before the figure moves out of the frame. Road flames. Drive carefully at night. You never know what's waiting. One driver recorded something unusual while traveling along a quiet road at night. The dashcam shows a small fire burning right in the middle of the lane ahead. What stands out is that there's nothing around it. No wood, no debris, nothing that looks like fuel. It's just a patch of flames sitting there on the road. As the car gets closer, another shape becomes visible nearby. A figure dressed in white appears standing close to the fire. The driver slows down and keeps a bit of distance while filming the scene. After watching the clip a few times, it's honestly hard to tell what exactly was going on there that night. Bush encounter. A group of travelers from Louisiana, driving through a quiet road, noticed movement coming from the bushes beside the road. Thinking it might be an animal, they slowed down and moved their camera to record it. As the light reached the bushes, a pale figure suddenly emerged and moved quickly toward the direction of the vehicle, before disappearing again into the darkness.
Wait a second. I think I see.
Someone?
I thought I seen a big buck or something. Wait, stop right there. What is that? Is that a buck?
What is that?
Dude, that's what.
The clip ends abruptly as the car speeds off and wonders if it was a rake sighting, as the creature very much looked like that. Masked stranger. A man driving along a quiet road suddenly noticed someone standing right in the middle of the lane ahead, and what looked like a strange mask covering the face. The driver slowed down and called out through the window, asking the person to move aside. The figure didn't react, and remained standing still as the car passed by for a few moments.
Move! Don't think I won't drive through you!
While the driver couldn't understand what happened, there's a theory that these masked men lure people, abduct them, after which no one can find their whereabouts. Tiny crossing. A short dashcam clip from Japan shows a strange moment at a quiet intersection. A car is waiting at a red traffic light when something tiny moves across the road in front of it. At first glance, it looks like a child running past, but the movement appears slightly unusual. The figure is tiny and crosses the road quickly before disappearing out of frame. Because of the distance and lighting, the camera doesn't capture clear details. The driver remains stopped, and the clip ends without any further activity. Bus passenger security cameras mounted on a moving bus captured a moment that confused many viewers. As the bus drives through the street at night, something unusual can be seen near the front headlights. For a brief moment, a girl appears to be sitting right on the front edge above the lights while the vehicle is moving. The bus continues at a steady speed, and the figure stays there for a few seconds before disappearing from view as the camera angle changes. No one inside the bus reacts during the recording. When the footage was later reviewed, people were creeped out about the possibility of a ghost hanging onto the bus and how no one noticed it. Forest night. A driver traveling through the wooded roads of Western Australia recorded something unexpected. As he slows down, a pale figure appears on the road ahead. At first, it looks like an animal moving low to the ground, but as the camera focuses, the shape seems longer and more unusual than expected. The figure quickly moves across the road on all fours and disappears back into the dark tree line. The driver remains inside the vehicle and does not approach the area. The short clip ends soon after the movement stops. Wailing Road. A motorcyclist riding home late at night recorded a strange moment on a quiet street in Mexico. As he slows down, a faint figure can be seen standing farther down the road. At the same time, a loud wailing sound can be heard in the background. The sound seems to echo through the empty street while the rider continues forward cautiously. The figure remains visible for a few seconds before fading into the darkness ahead. Nearby dogs can also be heard barking in the distance during the recording. The rider eventually continued on his way, and the short video later spread online, leaving no one roaming around that road late at night ever again. Yellow dress. A driver recording the road ahead noticed something unusual near the side of the street. A young girl wearing a yellow dress appeared to be playing on the roadside. The driver slowly passed the spot while recording through the window. A few seconds later, as the car moved farther ahead, the same figure appeared again, farther down the road. The sudden jump scare scared the person recording the video. The vehicle continues forward without stopping, and the clip ends shortly after. When the footage was later shared online, viewers replayed the moment to see if it was a hoax or not. My opinion? Well, it's scary nonetheless. Bench figure. A group of friends driving back late at night captured a quiet roadside scene on their dashcam. As the car passes a small rest area, a pale figure can be seen sitting on a bench beside the road. The group continued driving without stopping, but they later mentioned feeling a sudden cold rush of air inside the car as they passed the spot. Curious about the moment, they reviewed the dashcam footage afterward. The video clearly shows the same figure sitting motionless on the bench as the car moved past. Roadside doll. During a quiet bike ride in Bengal, a rider noticed something unusual near a tree beside the road. He slowed down and pointed his camera toward it. Sitting near the trunk was a small, mannequin-like figure with long hair placed carefully on the ground. Several ribbons were tied around the nearby tree trunk, making the scene look even stranger. The rider stopped for a moment just to get a clearer look before continuing down the road. Fog encounter. Two friends, staying at a hill station, decided to take a walk late at night and recorded the quiet road ahead of them. Thick fog surrounded the area, making it difficult to see far down the path. As they continued walking, a faint, human-like figure appeared in the distance, barely visible through the fog. The shape slowly moved closer while they kept recording. That was enough for the two of them to turn around and run back the way they came. After a few moments, they stopped and looked behind them again. The road was completely empty. Watching this clip, you can understand why they decided not to stay there longer. Snow road. One driver, trying to make it home during a heavy snowstorm, recorded his journey through a quiet shortcut road. Snow covered almost everything around him, and visibility was already low. As the headlights pushed through the falling snow, a figure wearing white clothing suddenly appeared, standing directly ahead in the middle of the road. The driver slowed down in surprise, but before he could react further, the figure seemed to appear much closer to the windshield. That was enough for him to quickly reverse and leave the area. Bridge figure. A late-night dashcam clip shows two men driving slowly across a quiet bridge. As their headlights move forward, a small figure appears sitting right in the middle of the road ahead.
Okay, that's a bit scary.
Yeah.
That's a bit scary.
That is very scary.
The driver immediately slows down and begins reversing the car. Around the same moment, the dashboard lights and indicators start flickering strangely inside the vehicle.
Alright, my traction control just came up.
Yeah, that's no good.
The figure stays seated in the exact same spot the whole time. From the way the person is positioned alone on the bridge, it almost gives the impression of someone quietly performing some kind of ritual or practice there. The driver keeps backing away until the figure fades into the darkness behind them. Skinny figure. A dashcam clip recorded somewhere on a dark rural road shows a thin humanoid figure standing ahead of a vehicle. As the car slows down, the headlights reveal long arms, a narrow body, and a head that appears slightly larger than expected and quite strange. The figure stands still for several seconds, pointing in one direction constantly, while the driver remains inside the car. The recording focuses on the road, while the strange being stays visible in front of the vehicle. After a short pause, the driver begins moving again, and the figure disappears from view, becoming another story, ending with curiosity. Roadside fright. A dashcam recording from a quiet rural road shows a moment that caught many viewers off guard. The driver is moving slowly through an empty road when a pale figure appears near the edge of the road. For a brief second, it looks like a woman in light clothing standing close to the car. The headlights pass over the spot and the figure seems to fade from view almost immediately. The driver continues forward without stopping. Whatever was captured there, the sudden appearance is what made this short clip so unsettling to watch. Jungle visitor. A curious traveler exploring a remote jungle area recorded something unusual near a small hut, hidden among the trees. The place looked quiet and isolated, with only a small structure standing in the clearing. As he pointed his camera toward it, a short figure dressed in a dark robe could be seen standing outside. What immediately caught attention were the bright glowing eyes, visible even from a distance. The traveler zoomed in slightly, and the figure remained completely still near the hut. The recording ended shortly afterward without the man getting any closer. It looked like a spot for some witchcraft in the middle of the jungle. Would you go to a place like this? Ghost cyclist. This clip comes from a driver who only noticed something strange after checking his dashcam at home. While driving along a quiet highway at night, the road looked normal at the time. But in the footage, a faint pale figure appears on the side of the road. It almost looks like someone was cycling slowly there. What makes it a little stranger is that the driver remembered several cars coming from the opposite direction, flashing their headlights at him earlier, almost like they were warning him about something ahead. At the moment, he didn't think much of it. Seeing the footage later definitely made the drive feel a little different. Shadow runner. Late at night, a car drives along a narrow road with very little light, except the car's headlights. As the camera points forward, something quickly crosses the road ahead. The shape moves so fast that it is visible only for a second before disappearing into the darkness on the other side. The figure looks low to the ground and moves with a strange speed, making it difficult to identify clearly. The driver continues without stopping. and the clip ends shortly after. When the footage appeared online, viewers slowed it down to see the exact moment it passed through the light. Even after multiple replays, the quick movement remains the most noticeable part. Bent figure A dashcam picked up this strange moment near a quiet neighborhood road late at night. The driver passed by a grassy greenbelt beside a house, and nothing seemed unusual while he was driving. Later, while reviewing the footage at home, he noticed a faded figure crouched low near the ground. It looked like someone bent over, almost as if they were digging or searching through the soil. The shape is faint, but clearly there for a few seconds. What stands out is that the driver said he never noticed anyone there at the time. Watching the clip later made him question what exactly was on that roadside while he drove past. Tall visitor. A farmer in the UK was driving along a rural road when something ahead made him slow down. In the dashcam footage, a very tall figure can be seen standing right on the road. The body looks unusually thin and long, dressed in what appears to be a dark suit. Its face is difficult to make out, almost blank in the camera's low light. The figure stands still for a moment and then begins walking toward the vehicle. The clip ends shortly after that. Some viewers online compared it to the well-known Slenderman character because of the height and shape. What's your take on this one? Road giant Russian dashcams capture all sorts of things, but nothing like this. Late one night, a group of friends were driving down an empty road when their dashcam recorded something crossing ahead of them. For a brief moment, a very large shadowy figure runs across the road in front of the headlights. The shape looks tall and wide, almost bigger than a normal person. It moves quickly from one side of the road to the other and disappears into the darkness beyond the trees. The whole moment lasts only a second or two, but the size of the figure in this one is what makes the footage stand out. Ghost bike drivers on the A4 highway in Paris recorded something that looked unusual at first. A motorcycle was moving along the road, staying neatly in its lane, but there was no rider on it.
Ça, c'était le 28 mai, le jour de la fête des mères. Je revenais de mon week-end à Coulommiers et j'arrivais sur Paris.
Several people nearby slowed down and filmed as the bike continued rolling forward on its own. It stayed upright and balanced for quite a distance without wobbling or tipping over. At first, it looked impossible, but motorcycle experts later explained that under the right conditions, a bike can keep moving like this if it was already in motion. Even knowing that explanation, seeing a riderless motorcycle cruising down a busy highway still looks pretty strange and eerie. Empty driver. Late at night, in Islamabad, a driver filming the road ahead captured something that didn't feel right. A car moved smoothly in front of him, staying perfectly in its lane. But as he got closer, the driver's seat looked completely empty. No hands on the wheel, no movement, nothing. Meanwhile, a man in the passenger seat sat calmly, focused on his phone, like this was just another normal ride. The car kept going without any visible control. Maybe the driver was hidden by the angle, or maybe something unseen was quietly in charge. Headless walker streets aren't always what they seem. A short clip circulating online shows a figure calmly walking down a quiet street. At first, everything about the scene seems normal. The person walks with steady steps and relaxed arm movements like anyone else. The unusual detail appears when viewers notice that the figure seems to have no visible head above the shoulders. The body continues moving naturally across the road before leaving the camera's view. Mysterious woman. On a mountain road in southern Mexico, a driver recorded something that looked extremely unusual in the darkness ahead. In the footage, a bright glowing figure appears beside the road. The shape resembles a person wearing long clothing, but the head area looks like it is surrounded by flames or intense light. What makes it more confusing is that the figure does not appear to be reacting to anything. The driver claimed he saw the same glowing shape more than once during the trip that night. Local stories often mention strange sightings on that road. Tesla figures. A family driving past a cemetery noticed something unusual on the screen of their Tesla. The vehicle system, which normally shows nearby cars and pedestrians, suddenly displayed two figures walking inside the cemetery area. One appeared to be taller, while the other looked much smaller beside it.
That is weird.
The strange part is that when the family looked outside, there was no one visible in that area at all. The screen continued, showing the two shapes moving slowly across the ground for several seconds. The system was also detecting nearby cars normally at the same time, which made the moment feel even stranger.
Now there's two of them. There was two just now. Did you see it? The little one?
Forest crossing. A truck driver resting along a forest road left his dash cam running while the vehicle was parked. The road was quiet, surrounded by trees on both sides with almost no traffic passing by. In the distance, a faint, pale shape can be seen moving from one side of the road to the other. The figure looks almost faded against the dark background, making it difficult to see clearly. It walks calmly across the road and disappears behind the trees on the other side. Scenes like this often look very different once you replay them slowly. Station woman. Early one morning, a driver stopped at a highway patrol station to refuel his car. After filling up, he began backing the vehicle out of the station area. That's when a woman suddenly appeared, standing directly in front of the car. Her face was hard to see in the low light, and she remained completely still as the vehicle moved. Each time the driver tried to adjust the car's direction, she stayed directly in front of the bonnet. The situation continued for a short moment until another man from the station walked over and guided her away from the vehicle. The dashcam recorded the entire encounter from start to finish, and I must say, it just gave me goosebumps. Tesla grave. A driver visiting a cemetery noticed something strange appearing on his Tesla display. The system showed 3 human figures and even a small motorcycle shape standing near one of the graves. Curious about what the screen was detecting, he stepped out of the car to check the exact location. When he walked over, the area appeared completely empty. The only thing present was a small toy motorcycle placed beside one of the graves. There were no people nearby and no movement around the area. The vehicle sensors had clearly picked up something, though it wasn't visible in the real scene. Hanging figure. A mother driving home with her daughter during a rainy afternoon recorded something strange above the road ahead. At first, it looked like a decoration hanging in the distance, which didn't seem unusual since it was shortly after Halloween. As the car moved closer, the shape became clearer.
Ma'am, do you need help? Do you need an umbrella?
It looked like a humanoid figure suspended in the air at about the same height as the nearby trees. The odd detail was that nothing appeared to be holding it up.
Are you okay? Your makeup's running.
There were no wires or branches supporting it. The two noticed the unusual sight and continued driving without getting too close. The clip ends shortly after they pass the spot. Tesla sensors. One explorer was driving through a dark forest road while heading toward a location rumored to be haunted. The road was quiet, and his Tesla's display was visible on camera the entire time.
Down a dark road.
As the car moved deeper into the area, the screen began detecting multiple human-shaped figures appearing around the vehicle.
My ghost family came with me too. They're all, oh my.
These shapes appeared and disappeared in different spots on the display while the driver looked around outside the car. The forest itself looked empty in the headlights. The system continued showing the figures for several moments before clearing again. Technology like this sometimes misreads objects or shadows, but seeing several figures appear at once definitely caught the driver's attention.